Black Box Productions.
Hey, I seen something on YouTube that made me think like, bro, we might get a chance to be blessed with seeing a West Side Connection reunion. I just feel it, bro, because I know that might not mean a lot to a lot of y'all, but it would mean a lot to a lot of others, including myself. They were one of the most powerful, successful, solid, unique groups that ever came out of the West that just dismantled with no pre-warning, just out of nowhere, without much explanation. And it just, through the years, being privy, all the whole Trinity, them my niggas. I've been blessed to work with Mac 10, Ice Cube, salute to both of them. However, I've never worked with Dub C, even though I would consider myself probably closer to Dub than I am with all three, just the way things worked out in the long run. And it was always just a simple story that, people that was interested understood that Mac 10, Ice Cube got into it. And without going into details of what supposedly happened, because I've heard variations of different stories. I've even talked to members of the group about it. But anyway, there was a climax to the story, or a period that supposedly set it on pause on my mama, good looking 562 Dubs, the homie, was, which anybody would say it's some weirdo shit, but supposedly whenever it was supposedly a time when Ice Cube was asked what would it take for you to get back together as a group and be cool with Mac 10, the response was supposedly he had to kiss my ring. And just because of the persona that Cube was pushing with as an artist at the time, in a way, he talked about, that was part of his lyrics, bow down, kiss the ring, the Don Mega and all that. It sounded like some extremely arrogant shit to say, but perhaps because it was a part of Cube's vernacular so much lyrically at the time, it sounded like it made sense to Mac 10, and it seemed like whatever negotiation processes or possibilities that might have been going on from that point just ceased for decades. And now here it is, somewhere in social media, thanks to Hip Hop Classic Daily, y'all know I fuck with them. I'm watching a clip, and somewhere on Twitter, somebody stated that that's what Ice Cube responded when mediation was trying to happen back in the day. And Ice Cube came and made it his business to come on there and say that never happened. And then Mac 10 is saying that that was third party information. And perhaps I would just assume, me knowing the niggas that's involved and just understanding the way things go down, I would imagine it do sound like some bullshit shit to say, but just because, Cube used to say that in music so much, and he was the man, so he does have a sense of, how can I say this, humble arrogance that is necessary to be the man that he is, that if you're not there hearing it firsthand and somebody else that you consider a worthy source says Cube said this, even though you might be shocked, it might be believable that that nigga said that old arrogant shit. All right, I can see that. But now it looks like all these years later, it's coming out in the wash that perhaps that's not exactly what was said and intended. And I know, in both of them being sound-minded gentlemen of understanding, that I just assumed that it might be a potential reunion, because that which was actually between that is becoming to be revealed as non-existent. And I think it would be great for hip-hop. It really irritates me to death that every time I just seen the boy Ari Spears, I think it was, do an interview, but not just him. Every time they talk about the top five, Cube name don't ever come up. And then they always go to, I don't know why it don't, like, on my mama, but I think Cube deserves a spot on every top five list. And it's just the oversight of I remember at one point with that nigga Jay-Z was so bold. He said, we give Dre his props, but that's where it stops. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too much of a hip-hop head. But I remember at one point, I was riding with the Cuban and with the whole West Side movement because I realized, okay, they saying, because I've always been an Eastie nigga on my mama. And it's the only time I had to like jump off I couldn't push the West no more because I never was really with that West Coast. That wasn't me, bro. Never was. So when the West Side Connection was pushing their line though, you know, they was like with the bow down as West Side. I just really was thinking, and I took it as Cube was meaning West Side, like West Side of the country, East Side, West Coast, East Coast, but he just was West Side. But then in the bow down song, cause it's just like, you know, I'm with everything they push and they Cube like something. If you live on the West Side of your town, like them other fools bow down, it was just like, that just didn't sit right with my soul. Like, why you say that, Cube? Like, I had to jump off the West Side from the East Side. They ain't never make them other. He said, if you live on the West Side of your town, he just opened it up to include exactly what I was trying not to associate with. I'm like, damn, Cube. I know he wasn't. I don't know if it was because this is beef with Cam and Solo. I don't know what it was, but irregardless of all that, I think it would be awesome, a beautiful thing for the culture, for the coast, for hip-hop in general, for the fans, to see the West Side Connection reconnect. So salute to that. If that is on the horizon, I'm with that on my mama. Oh yeah, I'm glad somebody mentioned banging at the party because at the West Side Connection as a whole, thanks to Sir Jinx, I was able to be on that. I think it was their second album on a record called Banging on the Party. Just like some writing and background vocal credits. It's a record I had did with Sir Jinx that when he went to play music for them for the album, they liked it. They liked the record we had done together and they chose it for their album. And they liked the structure. They didn't just like the beat, they liked the structure of the whole record. So they kept the hook and it was like a bridge, a chant that I had did. They kept my vocals and kept it on their album on Banging at the Party. Forget who that was who brought that up, but I'm glad you reminded me of that on my mama. So in a sense, I have worked with Dub, but I don't know if you want to count that as that's work credits that I have received with the whole group.
Snakewood Nip Hustle. Big shout out to my nigga SPI, Spotter Low. You know I'm in the black box, had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned, all that.